your eyes.
Number one. You heard the guy. Crypto News Network. What's up, boys? It's your boy VC. Look, everybody's going, what's going on out there? What's happening? Well, guys, if you go back, I mean, we have a lot going on out there if you actually ask. So, what we need to do here is put it together and figure out where we're going from here because there's so many extra things that are happening. It's almost impossible to really figure out what is going to happen in this entire space. And that's where we need to kind of piece it together. So, let's take a look here and see what's going on. Obviously, we've FUD comes out of everywhere. Here's your favorite FUD of the day. Fed to raise rates aggressively in coming months, says economist Reuters poll. Now the thing is, man, I'm pretty sure that they already said this. I mean, I told everyone on March 10th that they were going to raise rates aggressively, right? And how did I know that? If you invest in real estate or have any connections in real estate, you get this information weeks before anybody else in the country. So they had already planned this out. This is something that was going to happen no matter what. But now here's what you have over here. And the thing we want to kind of look at here is, why is it popping up at a time like this to really, the market is having a rough time. There's so much going on. So now the thing about this is that when we take a look at, let's take a look at the charts here. We'll take a look at Bitcoin as a whole. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And let's chart this up real quick. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but this is a little gem here that we've been watching and really pondering here. It's GMT, following a channel it perfectly. So if you guys aren't paying attention to that, that's a free gem that we're dropping inside of the video that we love to make a lot of money on. Now, look at Bitcoin exploding off here. Now, the thing about Bitcoin, man, that when Bitcoin hits and touches a certain level, let me open this up here. Bitcoin's exploding right now. Let's take a look at the week. All right, now we look at the weekly. Now, the thing about Bitcoin is, anytime that it makes a down pull like it does currently and taps, it moves very quickly. Let's go to the month range. Let me pull this up on, there we go. Now we got this on a month. And this retouch here is oddly following itself. Bouncing right off its support line at the 42.9. Now the weirdest thing is there is another support line that we had right across here at the 39. Move this text out of the way, things that we had, the 50 EMA, and 39 right there. Now, this little touch, now look at this line here that's been put there for a little bit of time, and it's following right up this channel here. So, we have higher highs, right? Here's a higher high. The best part is we didn't tweezer here off this higher high. Now this candle right here back in November pushed above, showing a nice little push up. But when we're falling down here, I mean, I'm looking at a nice little channel here that they have. There's a lot going on in Bitcoin, so it's with a lot in the world, man. I mean, we just have so much. You have the war. One of the biggest problems that I think is the problem is that everyone's looking for some type of, push of money, right? And I think everyone's forgetting that all the money they were given for stimulus checks and so forth have been removed, right? Because everyone got that out of their taxes. So there isn't really anything here to boost it from a retail perspective because everybody's already all in. So no real tax money, no stimulus money. This July or this January compared to last January, February, March is completely different because the retail investors don't have any money, right? And now you take into fact that we have 50, 100, well, some places gas is 200% higher than what we were last year. I think we were at $2.20, and I think some places are at $6 right now. So that in consideration is making food higher, gas makes food higher, traveling higher. People have already, the good thing is that people have learned how to cut out a lot of these expenses already just by the last year and a half living on a lockdown. So it's not affecting as much, but inflation is coming very heavily, and I think people are already adjusting to that very nicely. But the problem is, how far can people adjust? Right? How far can they go down? I mean, eventually this is going to affect the people on a massive level. I mean, you could be looking at a huge part of the population, at least 50% of the population just being wiped out. You know what I mean? So we got our boy E on here, man. E, what do you think about that, man?
It's scary.
It's I mean, it is a scary moment. Um, it's really hard to,
It's scary for those that are barely coming into this realm of crypto.
oh yeah, I mean, coming in right now as a person who's coming in to invest right now. I mean, you're talking. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's scary because they're like, oh, I want to get involved. They see something like this, and it's gonna push people away, man. But for those that have been in it for a while, they're just like, hey, these are the times where you hold and then you buy others at low prices. So for those that've been in the game for a while, this is where they buy they buy more. You buy in more. You can, what some people call it, the dollar cost average, and just buy more of the coins you have already, or try new projects and you buy them at low prices. But for those that don't get that, man, it can be very scary. They see all that red and they're like, this is not for me.
It's funny that you said that because the the if you look at how markets are manipulated, right? They have where there's always a catastrophic type event where they want to scare the weak hands out no matter what, right? And if you've been in crypto for the last 6, 7 months, 8 months, and definitely over a year, like a year and a half, what you've learned is that the weak hands get crushed, right? And there has been dump after recovery after dump after recovery, but this time the dump is after they took everybody's money. I mean, if you guys go back, if you're not a trader, if you're not somebody who's actually inside of money and finances, then you don't know about like um, how it works. I mean, you go back 100 years plus, and everyone who's into the financial world knows that the entire stock market was designed to actually take the retail's money. Like that's not a secret. The reason why they have IPOs where the businessmen and big companies can buy a stock at literally 10% the cost and then dump it on the working people, and they dump all their savings into it, and then that either makes some money or it doesn't. And that's why your bank doesn't give you any interest, because it forces you to get into stocks and actually play the game to where you can lose money. And what do? You buy a stock, it goes down, you sell it, it goes up, you buy it, it goes down, you sell it. And little did you know that you're giving away 10% of your position every time until you have nothing. So these markets are designed, and they're trying to, and they design them to take advantage of the retail investor. So now when you see something like this, the funny thing is that what E just said is, he said that coming in from the outside, it's scaring the people to death, right? And it's at that point, that's what they're trying to do. So it's just weird to me that he said that, because in my head I already know this is what they're doing, but from a guy who's just looking at it from a perspective from the outside, that's what everyone's feeling right now, right? So, and like he's talking about holding and buying some dips, you know, I think at this point, what we teach all the time is like take profits, take healthy profits, wait for the dip. So it's like, if you take a mastermind course, or if you take a course, or anything that I teach, educate, it's always about profits. And then that way, when things are dumping, you don't really care. Plus, we do margins, so I hope for dumps. Like right now, I'm looking at the charts and they're completely red, and I'm actually excited because right now I'm actually like shorting the hell out the market. And so it's a perfect time to get that money set up. And when you put in all these other factors, it's really hard to estimate on what a market's going to do. But there are a lot of signs here that point to a positive response to this market. And even though the retail investors are getting crushed here, that just actually makes it more reliable to me that this market is going to see a big bounce, because as soon as the paper hands fold, the institutions are coming in, and that's what they want to do here. They want to get the paper hands out of the way so that the institutions can get in and then charge you to get back in because you were afraid. So looking at this, and I'm just going level by level here, it's just interesting to watch this chart right now, right? It's having its little push, and it's settling on this little channel right here. All right, it's settling on this little channel here. Now, the weird thing is this channel looks just like a coin that we're making money on. And that is going to be our favorite little coin of the week right now, of the month, 2 weeks or whatever. And that is going to be our GMT coin.
Not making money from right now.
Yeah, it's the coin that we're in. Now, guys, I know a lot of times if you're out there, not financial advice, but we spend a lot of time just really working on one coin at a time, so that way we're not too spread out when we're doing like simple day trading or whatever. Dude, you know what I love about GMT? You go to the weekly on the GMT, it's nothing but green, bro.
Because it's slowly crawling upwards, man. That's what it's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's found 2 levels of support. So now it's on the second level of support. So if you go back, GMT at 860, I think we got in at 61 cents or something, 60 cents. And we've been running this all the way across. And then from 70, it just jumped to 250. It hit 310. And then now we're, it took its little 30% withdrawal. And now we're in this section right here where it's doing its consolidation. I mean, it looks phenomenal. What I like about it is it even on its dips, it wasn't the greatest dips, even though Bitcoin was having, health issues. But it still has higher highs even on its lows. So that right there is super, super bullish. So looking at this chart here, we're getting nice little pumps here. But what I wanted to look at here was how there's pumps, dumps, and then recoveries here, and then a super dump. Like we just went through this super dump here. And that's really what I wanted to look at, because Bitcoin is suffering, I would say, the same type of fate. Pump, dump, double pump, dump. Dump, pump, double pump, dump. I think GMT is leading Bitcoin. Do you see that, E?
Yeah.
And that's something where I was talking about I actually mentioned this, how long ago did I say that GMT is head of Bitcoin? That was like a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, that was a couple of days ago. You were like, we were watching GMT to see what was gonna happen.
Yeah, so we've been actually watching GMT to see what Bitcoin was going to do, which is pretty crazy. But that's what we're seeing here. And now, because the reason why I said it is because you see these three lower candles here, right? Literally about 2 hours ago, I came in here and I charted out GMT. And when I charted out GMT, I literally looked right at this pattern. And I put this channel in on these three coins here, like these three right there. And I was like, man, I mean, look at this. Right? And it's sitting right inside of its channel. Like the channel literally is right. Let's see. That's the channel right there. So right now it's sitting right in that channel. And now I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? And I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm looking at this same channel. So let's get a little closer. Let's get to a day on here. Like you see, now that I'm in the day zone, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. It's sitting in that same channel. Except GMT is ahead of the game. So this looks like we're going to get some type of movement. So we can just watch GMT here and see what happens on this movement here. Because we just watched GMT have a nice little pump to the side that we wanted, and then we witnessed it come back down. So it hit like 222, then went back to 218. And now, as you can see right here, it had its little dump. And then it started to move back up. So Bitcoin's making that same move. So Bitcoin should come down here. We should see some type of retracement up. Come back down, bounce off this line again. Yeah. This is the same pattern. This is what I was talking about the other day. Uncanny. I'll take this out of here. So that's what we're looking at, guys. I mean, the problem is, like I said, there's a good and a bad scenario here, where the scenario is that the retail investors they're trying to crush the retail investors, right? They want you out of this market. Now, to me, that's really bullish for me, because that means they want in the market. Now, it could suck unfortunately, when we look at this, we've been trying to explain this to people for, I don't know, a year and a half now, that you needed to get into cryptocurrency, you needed to learn how to use crypto, you needed to take advantage of this new technology, you needed to buy, a little wallet, you needed to get in here. And now, I think it's moving so fast that I think a lot of people are going to get left behind. And the biggest saver against inflation is actually going to be, Bitcoin's going to come back down here to 37, dude. I think it's going to bounce off its little middle piece here. If anything, it'll hit 41, and then, it's got some room here to fall, man. This is
I say it goes to 34.
you at 34?
I'm gonna scare him some more.
Scare him, get out, man, while you can. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, let me tell you about what's going on, man.
Because to me, I see it as, hey, let it fall. We'll short it.
See, that's
So
that's the guy. That's the guy who understands margins.
That's what I'm saying. If you've been in for a while, you'll understand. It shouldn't scare you.
He's like, oh my God, it's red.
Yeah,
Got him.
People that are in it, they're happy. they see red, that's money.
That's
Like,
money. This is bloody
majority
money,
of the
man.
time.
Bloody water. He sees red in the water. He's like, I know
I
he's
go
ready.
swimming when the water's red, bro.
Got him. He said Bitcoin's dropping. Got him.
We'll be like, is Bitcoin dropping?
Bitcoin dropping? Yeah, Bitcoin?
Yeah, we're going on vacation.
Bitcoin on vacation. So, I mean, that's really what's going on out there, man. You know, at the end of the day, it's just reality, right? So now, the thing is, I don't know if we can get that far down because there's a couple things in play here that we have to really go through, right? So first of all, let's talk about the Feds and what's really going on here because I want to make sure that we're kind of covering kind of what they're talking about here, and there's a lot to cover here. So we have to watch the stock market simply because whatever happens in the stock market is going to roll over, you know. So Bitcoin's correlation, you know, it has a Nasdaq 100 index, right? And anytime that reaches the all-time high, you're going to see this type of drop. The weirdest thing is that it happens in the same, like, it's following stock patterns. And in April, it happened last April as well, and we had a dip that happened. The difference is that dip happened while the markets were a lot higher, and it's really scary to me. This is the part that, you know, kind of really like makes me nervous about Bitcoin or just the entire market is because last year in January, February, and March we had an epic 3-month run. We had an extra $2 trillion go into a cryptocurrency market, even though right now we're at 1.8, right? And we got all the way up to $2.7 trillion. And then we've seen Poo coins with 900 million, you know, hitting, you know, close to $1 billion. We had price action everywhere. So when the market fell down, there was still a good amount. You know, there was a lot of action during the last 3 months that, you know, you made, you know, 2-3. I mean, if you're a good trader and you were in at that time, I mean, you pulled out 2.2 million. You know, some traders are 10 million. Some traders hit big numbers. Average traders $200,000-$300,000. I mean, there were some trades on coins that we were making $180,000 a coin in a week. So what's scaring me here is that we're seeing this April stock exchange moment happening right now, but yet Bitcoin and the other coins didn't really make their run, even though we just had a run, right? So this is where, if that was the best run of April, then we're going to have some problems. Like, we could see 32. Like he's talking about. He's talking about 32,000 right now. And when you think about it in a way of economics, you really have to put yourself in the ideal that there's no money, right? I mean, where are people going to get money? There's no tax money. You know, most of the time, if you take away, let's say, you have the stimulus checks, right? Plus, you know, don't forget, guys, there was the people. I mean, I'm thinking about how money came into the market. There was people who were telling me that they were unemployed, and they were making more money at home than they were working. So I think I'm trying to think of the numbers, but I had one guy explaining to me that he worked and he made $600 a week at his job, which is pretty decent for, I guess, for most people. And he was making, I think he said something like, I'm trying to think of the number, but I'm pretty sure it was 1,800 every 2 weeks. Right? So he was making like 20 to 30% more than he was going to work. And most people were making, you know, most people make $200-$300 a week by working in certain places, $300-$400, and they were making $600 a week. So they were getting $1,200 a week for sitting at home. When you take in consideration that 80% of America was sitting at home making $1,200 a week, and they were able to put that into the market and buy things and shop. I mean, you've seen Amazon. I mean, what did Amazon go up last year? I mean, they ungodly numbers, right? They ate up all that money, man. They robbed you of all that money for dumb stuff. And now you come to this January, right? Not only did you not get your taxes, not only did you not, you know, is unemployment still going on?
Is that what?
Is unemployment still going on?
Mm-hmm.
I think unemployment has stopped. Like, where you get them
Oh
extra.
yeah, they stopped that.
Okay, when did they stop that? Pull that up, man. See when you can see when you can get that stopped. So when you take that into consideration, that um, you're losing out on all that money, $1,200 a week per person, etc. And you fast forward to this moment right here, and now the people don't even get the taxes that they were making because of unemployment. That's all being kept, and the stimulus checks that they got, they're keeping it. So, man, that's a lot of money. So to see this April run, first of all, not to have a January, February, or March run that actually pushed the market up so high that it allowed people to FOMO in and get excited about the market. It didn't have that push, and now that it started its small push, to have it kind of get cut down short, I mean, that is
Just October 21st. October 17th. 21st. COVID extended unemployment benefits from the federal government have ended, but you may still qualify for unemployment benefits from your state. Contact the state representatives for unemployment insurance. And that article was released October 7th, 2021.
Yeah, so that's why we're seeing, that's why we don't have any of these, that's why January didn't make any money in crypto. So that's what happened out there, guys. You got to remember, and plus you have Bitcoin hitting like their coloration of the NASDAQ 100. The stocks are having issues. There's a lot of guys I know in the stock market that are putting calls and puts, and they're looking for shorts on stocks. So it doesn't look good, you know. So that's why you have to kind of take it in there, the probability of a recession next year is 40%. And right now, if you take a look at the U.S. Treasury bonds, they exploded, and they're estimating that the inflation rates are going to 8.4, and that's going to kill a lot of the tech and growth stocks. So that's not good for the market. So if you're moving, and the Feds are talking about 50 basis points here, it's pretty interesting on here. Look at this forecast: 50 basis points in May. A strong majority, or 85 to 102 economists, forecast 50 basis points in May. So this, I mean, it's just crazy right there. Now, the one thing that I think is that at the end of the day, so to me, when you talk about cryptocurrency, right? What I think about cryptocurrency is that at some point, I looked at, when you talk about the basis of cryptocurrency, right? All right, so when you think about cryptocurrency, what are you thinking, like, what's the move when you say cryptocurrency versus stock, gold, and all that? What do you think of cryptocurrency? Like, how do you feel about, I'm talking about the entire sector. Like, what comes to your mind when you say, hey,
opportunity, but with higher risk.
See,
opportunity at higher risk, but if you do your research, I think the outcome is very beneficial. That's how I feel about crypto. I used to trade in the stock market. That's where I first started. I used to do day trading in the stock market, and it's like I dislike the fact that as come Friday afternoon, the market closed. I couldn't trade Saturday or Sunday. Had to wait till Monday. I didn't like that, and I turned over to crypto, and it's 24/7. You could trade. You just do your research, find a project you like, and go at it. Break it down.
I think that's kind of where, in the background that you have there, as far as like trading into um, the markets and so forth, it really kind of, that's a little bit different on the side for people, right? So most people will have a situation where they don't have the confidence in the market because they've traded into stocks and bonds or whatever, and now you come to crypto and you're seeing this happen. So for you, even to you, this has to be a little like interesting. But I mean, so if you didn't learn margin, so let's say we never hung out, I never taught you how to short the market, and right now you're looking at all this blood. What do you feel?
I would stay. If I would feel like I would stay away until it corrects. I look at it and say, man, if I put my money, I don't know how much it's gonna drop.
Right? So now you have to say to yourself, not only do you have the fear of how much it's going to drop, but they're also telling you that you're not getting tax money, you're not getting any money, and gas is $6 a gallon, and food is steady going up 30 to 40%. Do you even have money to risk? Is the question.
That's true.
So I mean, to me, go ahead.
No, that's true. That's the most valid question. Like before even people look at this, it's like, do you have money to risk? That's the number one question. Do you have money to risk? And if you don't, then keep your money where your pocket's at.
And I think that's the problem. And at the end of the day, I think the problem really comes down to that they just don't have the money to risk, and they didn't get any extra money to put in. So when we look at this run, we could have schematics, we can have ideals of where something can go, and then say to ourselves, well, this is where the market should be, right? So I know how the market should react or where it should go normally, but when there's a war, when there's a food crisis, when the gasoline is 300% more, when there's no when there's no tax money, when there's inflation, when there's fear of inflation, when you put all this together, you eliminate every retail investor, which is what they want to do. So now, if you take it to that level and you say to yourself, okay, mass adoption is here, because not only that, but there's articles left and right that banks are coming in and that they're joining, and they like Bitcoin's technology, they like Ethereum's technology, they like the blockchain technology. So now you're all you're reading is, you know, uh, how they're putting, hundreds of millions of dollars into cryptocurrency, and how cryptocurrency is becoming the next, that it's real. So, but the question, like the problem is when an institute tells you they're going to invest $300 million into cryptocurrency, the problem is that it's not like you. If I talk to you and you're like, "Yo, I'm putting $1,000 in right now," it happens, right? They have to run it by the board of directors. They have to send the paperwork. People have to sign off on it. This process could take a week. This process could take 14 to 28 days, right? And then their analysis is going to come down to the bottom of the market. So if you're looking to invest 300-400 million dollars, and you look at what's happening right now to Bitcoin, I mean, I don't think you're putting money in right now. I mean, I can, as a trader, if I'm sitting down and these big companies have traders that do what I do. As a trader, I can't tell. I could say, hey, listen, we're on this little uptrend here, So we're looking to see a push and then a retrace. I mean, I'm definitely not putting any money until I get what's called confirmation, right? Imagine being a trader putting in 200-300 million dollars for a company and you agree that this is the bottom. I mean, you if you don't do your job right, bro, you're fired. So, in good conscience, just looking at this chart here, there's no way that I could look my bank in the eye and say to them that this is a good time to invest because first of all we have a support line here at 39, which is probably the strongest support line if you actually back out of Bitcoin all the way across. If you draw your lines, this is the greatest support line that you can have right now. But the truth of the matter is we don't know if it can hold it because we've seen it go below it and come up and go below it and come up. So it looks like it slightly has an uptrend here. So it does look like it's going to tap and run, but you cannot make this decision as a trader, especially for a bank with $300 million. You can't make a decision here until this coin at least passes this little line here. I mean, here's the golden pocket. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that, but the golden pocket is sitting at the 40, 41, 42. And to be really in a zone, you would be looking to get in around the 43 mark. I mean, you'd want to be solidly above here. And if you could tell here on the volume, most traders are buying at the zone about 42.3, 42.4. So they're not getting in until this thing actually does two moves, right? One move is a bounce up. The retracement on that bounce up move is going to be the point at where they look to enter, right? And secondly, if that bounce up isn't above the moving 200, which seems to be about 43,000, I don't think they're getting in. I think they're waiting this out. And the thing about it is that when you're putting in $300-400 million, you're not too worried about a coin going from 40 to 43,000 before you buy it. You're more interested in getting the lowest low. I mean, it's weird to think that way, but they'll take the risk of it getting to 43 and being completely secured on a run and buying a dip that then falls an additional, 20%. So I think we're in a minute of a run of a bloody run here. And I don't know if it's going to stop anytime soon. Because if the stocks are falling, so this is what I wanted to kind of wrap it up on, right? So I mean that makes sense, E?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, even today we were talking about getting into a coin, and even E looked at it and was like, I'm looking at it to go to 32. So
Yeah.
that's like a normal thing for a trader. So these guys aren't going to just jump in on this too crazily, right? So it's very interesting on what's happening here. Now, the only good news is that GMT, this coin, has been leading the way over Bitcoin. It is showing a push. We're actually riding it long right now, but it has a very small channel here that I'm watching. And if it falls out of this channel, I'm going to look at Bitcoin to go even further down. So that's kind of like the channel on that. So GMT can kind of be your ideal for your Bitcoin, give you a little ideal out there. But honestly, I think stocks are going to have an issue and things are going to move down. Now, to wrap this up, I've always said that the key to me for cryptocurrency, and the reason why I love cryptocurrency, is what E was talking about earlier, opportunity, right? And when my mind, I say to myself, why buy Tesla stock at $900 and wait for this technology to build all these things? Maybe Tesla goes to 1,500, right? To me personally, I think Tesla goes to $1,500, even 2,000. That's 100%. You can double your money, right, over the next 3 years. But if they came into crypto and they bought Ethereum at $2,800, I mean, Ethereum could hit $20,000.
That's for sure.
So that's an 8x. So if I had three, four, even $500 million, why do I just want it to become 500 million to a billion when I can make 4.2 billion on Ethereum? So for me, I always believe that cryptocurrency would be the hedge against inflation. And I think that's what's going to happen with the big money, is that they're going to come in here and scoop it up during the inflation, while they've told everyone else that it's fool's gold, it's uncertain, and all this other stuff. And retail investors who don't know better, especially the baby boomers who have allowed themselves to listen to these financial, experts and people who tell them what to do to convince them not to be inside of crypto, are going to be the ones who continue to be out of crypto until the banks are securely and the hedge funds are securely in crypto and have it solidly, owned before they let them in order to give them a piece of the pie. That way the bank makes even more money and investors make even the investment company and firms make more money off you because you're buying in and they're dumping on you, right? And they're just working the system. So to me, I just feel like we're at that moment, where the investors are just too scared to get in or don't understand what this technology is because they allowed all these companies to talk them out of it. And I think that cryptocurrency is a hedge against inflation, because even if you bought gold, right? I mean, even if you bought gold and silver, and I would buy silver over gold just if you ask me. And that's because silver has a higher value and it's worth, can do a 3 to 4x, while gold can only do a 30% if the greatest run happens. And because it's already at $2,000. So no matter, when I think of that as a person who's got, hundreds of millions of dollars or millions of dollars, I mean, even a normal investor who's sitting on, 3, 4, 5 million dollars, who's kind of got it in the stock market, maybe even 10, 15 million, and they're sitting around. I mean, I would take the risk of taking 7 million out to be safe, but if I had 7 extra million out of my 15, I think I would risk it on Ethereum. Like I feel pretty solid, or at least some of these other projects, to say to myself, worst case scenario, if I spread this 7 million around 7 top projects, I'm going to get at least 10 to 20% on my money, which is way better than the stock market's average of 5, and I could possibly get a 20x. So that's my food for thought on that, E. Why don't you wrap it up? Let me know what you think. What do you think about it?
I agree with you, man. I just, I was thinking about what I was saying earlier, dude, and I would just close it out with this: that it is scary what's going on for those that like I said earlier, that are just coming into this. But hey, this is what I'm gonna say. I came into your Discord and I started with $50. Okay, $50. You don't need much. Get it in this. Come to his Discord and learn. We'll teach them how to do it.
Yo,
You know.
so you see, like, when you have a perspective when the market crashes, the man has no more fear of a crash, because I mean, if Bitcoin goes to zero, we'll make millions of dollars, right? So when the coins are kind of going up and down, it kind of takes away from where we make a lot of our money. So when you become, and what he's talking about, it's not that hard to get some basic information to be secure in this type of investing. I mean, the man he spent 3 weeks to learn a very simple system, and now he started with $50 and he's doing very well, $500-600 a week. But now he looks at this market with no fear. It doesn't matter if it's red or green. He knows he can make money. And so we're going to post in there, if you guys go to Linktree, and I'll get a thing for it, but linktree.com venture capitalist. So Linktree/venture capitalist. I'll throw it in the comments. Go into the Discord right now. We're giving away some free VIPs. So share this video, put VIP in the comments. We're going to get you some free VIPs where you can learn how to make this happen. We have beginner classes for free. So go to the Linktree, join the Discord, and we have advanced classes that you can get into to really like advance yourself. But we suggest everyone starts with the beginner courses for free, and that's enough to get you by the way you can make 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 bucks a week, starting with $50. But we're gonna wrap it up. So that's a look at Bitcoin. That's your market update, guys. There's not much else that we can really cover on that. It's just kind of the way it is. And so for me, even though it looks completely terrible on a retail type side, like I can tell by retail investors, if they thought about this, there's no money, they have no money, they can't get in anyways, inflation's going to crush them, no tax money, no this, no that. I mean, when I hear all those scenarios, I just pretty much say to myself, like, this is the worst time for this to happen. And then I think to myself, this is what they want to happen. Because this means you sell everything, you get out of your positions, and they wait for it to happen, and they buy everything up because they've pulled money out of stocks over 8 months ago, and they've got hundreds, I mean, like literally hundreds of millions of dollars sitting on the sideline just to get into crypto. And they have finally got to that position after 8 months to where everyone can't afford to be in Bitcoin. So now your paper hands are gonna fall. Everyone's gonna get out, and then they're going to buy it up, and that's the end game.
They're gonna do the same thing. Watch this happen pretty soon. With Amazon, with Google, and Tesla. Same thing's gonna happen. They make it run up just like they do Bitcoin. It's gonna run up, and right before the split, they're gonna sell it. Oh, just watch.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. And all the investors, they're just going to be sitting there screaming, watching their money turn red. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do there, man. So that's just food for thought, guys.
Food for thought. You know, it's bloody out there, but I'm already 5% gaining. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Learn margins, guys. Learn how to short the markets. Learn how to do puts and calls. It's a lot better. And you just don't care what the market does, and you make money. It's not that hard, guys. There's tons of information on YouTube. We teach it for free. We have beginner courses. But that's pretty much where we're at with all that. So, keep up with us, man. We're going to be dropping a bunch of Twitter information. We're going to end this live right now and jump back on with another live. So if you're following us right now, give us about 5 minutes for a break. We'll be back on. We got to cover some other stuff that's going on in the market. Other than that, thanks for coming over to the Crypto News Network. Hit that subscribe button, follow, put VIP in there if you want a VIP upgrade. Get yourself all together on there, and then basically, good luck out there. Don't worry. It's going to be hard to hold, man, but you got to get your money ready to buy the dip or buy this jump, because whatever they do, they're doing it to make money. You want to be involved. I'm your boy VC. Wish you the best of luck.
Peace.
Close your eyes. So beautiful.